Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. Today I'm unboxing a game that came out in 2023, had a successful Kickstarter. The game is called Freezing Inferno, USSR versus Finland, 1939 to 1940. So this is obviously the beginning years of World War II. And this game is from Princeps games. It doesn't say it on the cover. Where does it say that? Sorry, I'll show you the... Here we go. Created by Princeps games. And then they do have a North American publisher, distributor, Gigamech. Publisher for Europe, Conflux. And then the game is made in China. But this is a hex encounter war game. Medium complexity. It does play, I think it's in 4 to 6 hours it plays. We did play their Princeps games, World War I game, a couple of years ago. It seems like it was forever ago. Introductory level, simple. I think this one's a little more complex and ramps up the elements a little bit of a more traditional war game. You can see it's a big box. Pretty good production. I think the art is pretty good. Nice tank there. We have a Russian plane, a yak, I'm assuming. But yeah, nice looking package. And let's go ahead and get that open. I did like the details on the spine here. I can't quite get you. You know, the spine has the Russian flag there. Find the Finnish sniper right on the spine. There's one right there. You can see the landscape. Looks frigid, and then obviously this is Finland's flag there on that side. So I think there's a lot of nice detail on the box and the presentation. The Nasevich brothers, Vukasin, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name, but they are brothers. Pretty cool guys, and they designed and put this game together. Well, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and show you, which is different than normal because usually on top are things like the rules. I'm going to go ahead and show you the board, and it's huge, and there are 2 sides. So I'm going to turn this one over. I got to move it out of the way. Yeah, this is a double-sided board. And it's big. You can, I'm going to move the camera back. You can kind of get a look there at the bottom. And then you can go all the way up the top. And you're going to run into my other stack of games that I'm trying to get unboxed there. But the board shows Finland. Obviously, Finland here. Norway is in the upper kind of left corner. Sweden is out here. But this is Finland. And the Soviet Union, USSR, is over on the right. Basically, the border is that red line that you can see. So that's clearly called out. The style here is somewhat, I'm not going to call it cartoon-like, but it looks like a video game style of trees and landscapes. I think it looks pretty good. The hexes are very clear. They are outlined in light blue. And then obviously the snow is on the ground. You can see different villages. Their victory point values are listed. You have lakes here that are impassable. Lake here, ocean around this way, ocean up there. And I do like the way the trees look. You've got your victory point turn track over here. You've got a diplomacy table. Let me move that up just a little bit. You have a diplomacy table here in the bottom left that you're going to try to move up and down, and they have different effects on what you can muster. And then in the very upper left that you can't quite see are some attack modifiers, which is kind of nice that it's directly on the board. It makes playing these kind of games a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and attempt. And I always am afraid with these mounted map boards I'm going to rip them or tear them, but there, I did that pretty well. So this is an alternate side. Looks like it basically covers the same area It's just a little less stylized and a little more, I'm going to call it war game like, rather than looking more like a video game. But you have the same information. You have this diplomacy chart down at the bottom, your turn track, general records track, the attack modifiers in the upper left, and then you have a little bit more traditional hexes outlined and shown here, roads, trees that aren't blown up, and like I would say, like a video game. You can see the mountains up in the top part of the map. Let me move that up there. You can see those blue and white mountains at the very, very top. Those look really nice and are very stylistic. Lakes and rivers and ponds and other bodies of water are shown very clearly. The Arctic Ocean, Gulf of Finland, Lake Ladoga, all shown. But yeah, it's a huge board. But that's the first thing that we're taking a look at. Now there's a pad of paper, and I think this is for deployment of some hidden units. So you're going to write those there, and when the USSR moves in, they're going to run into those. There is a hidden unit type part to the game. Here is the rule book, and it's more like a rules pamphlet, although it's fairly thick. Nice looking rule book here. Kind of shows the setup of different, I assume these are scenarios. There's a lot of those. Not really sure what those are. It says Finland bot setup, so you can play this game solo. Well, that's cool. Let me see, and that says USSR bot. So that I did not know that. So I've learned something today. But it looks like the rules themselves, taking out the solo mode, are about 25 pages, and you can see they're not heavy text, dense. Fairly large text spaced out, lots of gray area, some pictures, and then there's the sequence of play before, there's 27 pages of rules. Then you have a couple of pages for the solo mode, 3 pages roughly. You have a nice table of contents here at the beginning. Always nice to be able to find list of abbreviations that are used in the rules. A list of your components. We'll go over those in a minute. The victory conditions straight up. Game duration, the board talks a little bit about that. There's that terrain attacks modifier, terrain movement modifiers, unit strength, how combat works. Yeah, so fairly simple looking game. Move and fight, fight and move, that kind of style. So that's a good thing. Here are the counters. They are in a plastic baggie. I'm going to go ahead and pop these out so we can inspect those. And they are pre-rounded, which is really nice. They're going to fit in probably very well in a counter tray. And they're nice looking counters, very simple, fairly large as well. There are 5 counter sheets. Here, I'll show you. They're fairly similar. You've got Russian units here on the right, and then you've got your Finnish units mostly on the left of those counter sheets. White versus the tannish, reddish tan. I'm going to pop one of those. There's an air unit. This is a Finnish air unit. Has a backside as well. The values didn't change, so I don't know if that's a reduced side or if they're just double-sided counters. You can see here the different, you have some Soviet tanks, artillery. Here are those yaks I had mentioned on the cover. Here's some bombers, and then you've got your infantry. I think the movement points are actually printed on there, 14 MP. And then this is probably a combat value in the upper left and maybe a defensive value in the upper right. You can see the units that use silhouettes. You can see the Finnish units. You've got some Finnish tank units here and here. Some air units. And then you've got some anti-tank artillery. Yeah, nice looking counters. It appears that these are almost identical. So I'm not sure if it's just 5 sheets with the exact same counters. It really looks like that's the case, which is interesting. Yeah, they're nice looking counters. They're thick. I do like that they are pre-rounded. I'm going to go ahead and show you this before I take these out. These are very nice custom kind of wooden insert boxes. And they're printed wood. I'm trying to think what you would call that. But you're going to punch they're punched out, and then you can build these boxes, which is cool. You've got this one holds dice. You can see there's a couple of 20-siders, a 10-sider, a 12-sider, and an 8-sider. Fairly standard dice. Nothing real unique about those. That one doesn't want to quite stay closed. I'll fiddle with that. You have the Russian unit box, and this is where you're going to put their counters. Nothing in there. And then these have like the terrain themselves shown on these. These are really nice. Let's open this one up because this does have, feels like it has pretty good contents in it. There are cards. So this one has a deck of cards. And these appear to be maybe the different scenarios that are included in the game. Let me see if I can. They're vacuum sealed, so they're very, very tight. I don't want to damage the cards. There, I got a small tear in it. I'm going to be able to get that off to show you these cards. They're tarot-sized cards. But yeah, they're just some different scenarios and historical pieces here. And then they give kind of an event at the bottom. So this one says, attack modifier +1 for Soviet air units when attacking the city hex. This says attack modifier +1 for Soviet infantry. And these all have 1s, so those are going to happen at the first part of the game. And then you have 2s, 3s. There are 3 apiece. There are 4s, 5s, 6s, 7, and 8. So they go all the way up to 8. They do have dates on them. Okay, so these dates are actually the same. So you might end up having 1 event out of a possible 3 for each of these turns. So that's going to add some variability and some difference. Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to have. You're going to kind of build the event deck, which is cool. In this one, there are some money chits. These are money. This is the money that you're going to get to ultimately build and replace your units. Let's go ahead and tear those open, and then I'll just pour those into that box. Let's go ahead and just do that now. Really nice, thick components. Not too many war games have money tokens. This is a la Axis and Allies style. So this is like a 2 credit, money credit or military credit piece. So there are 1s, 2s, 5s, and 10, it appears, in those denominations. So that's kind of cool. Now the big box, let's go ahead and open that up. There are some play aids. Nice big box, really like. That's that cover illustration with the yak in the air and that Soviet tank there. These are very thick boards. You can knock yourself on the head and end up ultimately giving yourself a concussion with these. Very well made. Thick cardboard. So this is the bot play aid, that's nice. So you have the Finnish bot and then the USSR bot. This is the technology track. There's some espionage, meteorology, different things that can be done. You're going to build and invest in these things, moving that up. That's for the Soviets. Ground to ground and air to air combat results table. So you can see that looks like a standard. You get your odds, strength ratio, you roll your dice, and then see what happens. Air to ground combat results table. Here is the Finnish technology development chart. Same type of things, some different units. There's a White Death sniper, +1 attack modifier for Finnish infantry when attacking the Soviet infantry. Here you have CRT explanation of abbreviations. terrain effects movement, terrain effects modifiers right there. The action sequence itself on the back, unit cost, what it costs to build those different units, so that's really nice. And then here you have the weather table, and you probably have a weather marker that's going to mark where it is, and they have different effects. And then there's that USSR bot that I already showed you. So yeah, that's a look at the game. I'm going to move that box off. Freezing Inferno from Princeps Games. A really nice production. A lot of very interesting components here. Simple, probably an introductory level style of war game. I know that I've seen some people playing it. Zilla Blitz, I know, played and did quite a bit of material on it. So there you have it. If you're looking for a unique topic and an introductory level war game, Freezing Inferno is going to be right up your alley. So appreciate you watching, but very much interested in trying to get this played. I might also kick around with those solo bots. Always a good thing to have a dedicated solitaire mode rather than just doing best move with each side. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm glad I'm able to get this one unboxed and appreciate you watching. So thanks. I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.